Man, hey, write a check your ass in cash, man. That's all I can say.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to an episode of SWAC Saturdays with SheLovesThee on a Tuesday. I have a public service announcement to make. Viewer discretion is advised. The following content is petty. Feelings will be hurt, shade will be thrown, and yes, you will get in your feelings. Oh, and just so you know, this live will be demonetized because, copyright. So if you're feeling generous, all donations are greatly appreciated. Grab your tea, buckle up, and don't say we didn't warn you. Enjoy the pettiness. As always, we are going to refrain from targeting student athletes specifically. So if you have a gripe about a certain position, you can say that. But we're going to be respectful of our students. I tried to see what the gray area is with respectfulness, because it's a lot of gray area with this. Because if we're not going to make fun of student athletes, then that means we shouldn't be making fun of that tackle for FAMU. But that turned into a meme real quick. Nevertheless, I'm going to start off the live with a remembrance while I get my microphone set up and my lighting. It's going to be on repeat a couple of times. So please enjoy the show. Once again, go ahead and hit that like button. We're going to be respectful and petty. We're going to have some good banter. We're going to have some great conversations. Hopefully I have my contributors coming on tonight. Let's have some fun. Okay? Like the stream. Okay, y'all. Okay. Whew. Like I said, No, listen. I had a SheLovesThee SWAC Saturday, and it was expedited. Jackson State versus FAMU. We didn't get a chance to talk about some other matchups. And, you know, at that point, I didn't have time to compile all the pettiness. So I feel like, you know,
I got something to say. Yes, I got something.
And, you know, I'm sure there's some other people. Mr. Ford, Uncle Willie, Brother Bakari, anybody?
I got something to say. Yes,
What y'all got to say? What do y'all have to say? This is what I have to say. And I'm just going to use other people's words, because then, you know, it can't really fall back on me because they the ones that said it, right?
y'all hired some homegrown talent. I'm proud of Jackson State. Everybody give me a round of applause. Everybody just give me a round of applause. They hired some homegrown talent. And got a homegrown ass whooping. That's a homemade ass whooping. That ass whooping from scratch. Okay? That ass whooping went out the box. That ass whooping came from scratch. Them folks told you last year, I hope you put me on homecoming. Them folks told you what they gonna. See, it's one thing to sneak up on me. If you're gonna sneak up, I lost to Texas Southern last year homecoming, right? I didn't see that coming. They snuck up on me and they beat me. Them folks told you, if you put me on your homecoming next year, I hope you put me on your homecoming. You dummies did it. You did it and got your ass whooped.
Woo! Woo! Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. G's always clowning. He always is. But once again, welcome to a night of back and forth banter. Hopefully we'll have some people that'll come up and talk some real football, you know, since I only know stats. We're going to get into it. We're going to go ahead. You know, I'm just, you know, doing my little 1-2 step with the pettiness. You know how it is. You know how I get down. Usually I do it like at the end of the show, but we might as well just go ahead and get it out.
He made a big time, Willie.
And Fred McNair.
He made a big time, Willie.
And Fred McNair.
He made a big time, Willie. Willie! Willie! He go! Willie! He made a big time, Willie!
Y'all know that's my favorite. You know what is crazy about that particular video is it never goes out of style. You know how you be like, that's played out. That you shouldn't even play that anymore. It's played out. None of these videos, they must be timeless because they just fit every
How you
scenario.
gonna fix it? You done messed me up to death visit. I done called the police because I'm doing a refund. A refund is due unto me. Don't feel like I just been abused down here today. God ain't pleased like this. You can't do the Saints like this. Boys, I don't even know what I'm gonna sit out here telling the police car. I'm gonna sit out here telling the police car. I'm doing refund. Cause I'm doing one to me. How you gonna fix it?
I remember when, this is interesting right here. Let me point EA out. Lord, these folks love hollering about some unity. You gonna get these jokes. Oh no. You're gonna get these jokes. You're gonna get these jokes. You're gonna get these jokes. Why is it that all of a sudden there's all this HBCU one love and SWAC unity? Ain't no HBCU love and SWAC unity in football. Don't go carrying on. It was nice to meet you, EA. But this is what I have to say in regards to, I think for Southern versus Alcorn and Jackson State versus FAMU, this song applies.
That's some of that young folks music.
So please don't come up in here talking about some HBCU unity. This is football. Don't do that. If you was bragging about your endowment, don't come on these folks' platforms talking about SWAC unity. Don't do that. If you was telling us that you was going to the FBS before you found out those Chuck E. Cheese coins was fake, don't come up here talking about HBCU unity. You're going to get these jokes. Take them in stride. Ain't no kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. Take these jokes. Take these jokes. Yeah, don't talk that kumbaya mess when it comes to football. Ain't no unity. It's us versus them. The only time that we do HBCU unity in terms of football is when it's SWAC versus MEAC. And these last couple of years, even that's been kind of sticky. Yeah, it definitely is. Thank you so much for the donation, Mr. Hardy. This definitely is demonetized. It looks like we've had quite a few more people come in here. Before we start actually talking about and breaking down the Alcorn versus Southern game, I'm going to replay. It's only 45 seconds, you guys. Some of you guys might have missed it. So I'm going to play it, and then we're going to get right on into Alcorn versus Southern. Anybody that would like to join the panel, you're free to join the StreamYard, and you can talk, whether or not you have an explanation for Alcorn, or you bigging up Southern, or you want to talk Jackson State versus FAMU. I'm going to play this, and then we're going to pull up Alcorn versus Southern and break down the game. All right. So it was Southern's homecoming. You know what? I feel like Alcorn really felt like they could ruin a homecoming this past weekend. I really felt like maybe it was just the way that G was talking. Mr. Ford. Let him clear it out, because he wasn't here on Saturday. I wanted him to clear it out. G Tillery, please don't say the greatest homecoming. Okay, so you could just say GH. GH, I guess. The greatest homecoming. I don't know. I don't even see, when you're the greatest, you don't even have to say anything. The homecoming speaks for itself. That's how I feel, because that's how Jackson State homecoming is. Tell Mr. Ford to get in here. Mr. Ford, get on up in here. Let me go ahead and pull up Mr. Ford's. I know he done talked to the street committee by now, and I want deets. We're going to start him off with Alcorn versus Southern, and then we'll work our way over to Jackson State versus FAMU. Hey, Mr. Ford, how you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, how are you?
All right, I'm doing good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mr. Ford,
Uh-huh.
why you say drop the link and then you didn't get on Saturday?
I thought you was going to condense it because you wanted to get out and socialize.
Man, we was on there for an hour.
Oh, okay. Well, I knew I was going to come back Tuesday. I was I was going to get on, but I thought you were saying that you were going to go out and socialize. and enjoy the
Oh
victory.
yeah,
Brother, and
I definitely did that. But
yeah,
folks,
yeah.
you
Well,
know
but
what?
well,
I
let
had
me.
people in my inbox and they said, "Where's Mr. Ford?" I actually had somebody from the Jackson State Chicago alumni.
Uh,
She's an alumna of Jackson State, and she
uh,
said, "Oh, she likes listening to you, Mr. Ford,
oh,
all
thank
the way
you.
up in Chi-Town." She
Oh,
specifically
yeah.
asked about you. I said,
That's
"Okay."
Cook. Isn't it Cook County? What is that? Cook County?
I don't know what county it is. I just know she's
Yeah,
Chicago alumni. She was
yeah.
at
I think
Jackson
so.
State
Yeah.
versus FAMU. She flew in. She flew in, and she's looking forward to Hampton versus Jackson State
Oh,
next
that's
year.
gonna be big. That's gonna be
But you
exciting.
know what? I need to just stop talking because a lot of people been waiting on your 2 cents. But what we're gonna do first is we're gonna start
Mhm.
with Alcorn versus Southern.
Right, right.
So go ahead and tell us your thoughts, Mr.
Oh, well,
Ford.
first of all, I mean, you could tell I was watching it on television. When I came back from Clark, which was my homecoming, Clark Atlanta University played Miles, and they beat us like a drum. Like you said, put belt to ass. They beat us in the ground. And not only did they beat us on the football field, they blew our band away. But we had a monster crowd there. One of the things that was obvious about my homecoming is it was not very well planned or organized as far as the gates and receiving people. Uh, we have 5 to 6,000 people at Clark, but when it comes to being big time in football, we're not there yet. We're not ready for prime time. But let me just say this about that Alcorn uh, Southern game. It's obvious that Alcorn does not have a vertical game. They can't throw the football. And
Mm.
because they're one dimensional. Now, I love them running backs Alcorn got. I think 2 of them guys are transfers, them big time backs. But here's the thing. See, I've talked to you about this before. See, you got to have balance. And when you run up against a tough defense and you only can do one thing, you can only throw, you can only run it, and you don't have balance, people can stop you. And basically, especially in the second half, uh, Southern stopped them because Alcorn is one dimensional. Okay, I like that kid from Beaumont, Texas as a quarterback, but they don't have a vertical air game. They can't throw the ball downfield. They can't hit you deep. They got a problem. And until they get that straightened out, I can't see Alcorn going far in this SWAC West because they're not balanced. They're not balanced. But at the
So
same time,
is that something that you're saying that is that something that can't be corrected or,
well, I saw in the Grambling game, I was impressed with him in the Grambling game, but I knew that he was not a skilled passer. I could see that. But he looked comfortable in the offense. They were doing things, he's he can really run. I like the way he runs. He's the kind of kid I could see him going to the pros and they could make him a wide receiver or a defensive back or something like that. But they got to come up with an air game for him. You're not going to be able to run on everybody. You got to come up with an air game. And it's got to improve. But
mm.
until it improves, right now, I think Southern's in the. You know what? I'm ready to see that Southern FAMU fight this Saturday night. I think that's going to be monster. Now let me
Ooh.
just say this. Let me just say this and congratulations to the Jackson State family for the big win on Saturday. And I've said this over and over.
What year?
I
It's the year
feel.
with what?
Let me say this. I feel that Jackson State is the Black Air Coryell. Are you familiar with Don Coryell? Do you remember him?
Wait wait now, Mr. Ford. You
You
getting
don't
ready
remember
to make
Don Coryell?
some type? No, I don't.
Okay, okay. Well, let me just give you a little background on Don Coryell. Don Coryell was initially a college coach at San Diego State. He was hired away from San Diego State and he was brought to the St. Louis Cardinals. And he had people like Mel Gray, Terry Metcalf, that's Eric Metcalf's father, uh, Mel Gray, Jim Hart. They were really good. They were explosive. Okay, and I think after Jim left, it was Neil Lomax, I think. I have to look that up. But anyway, their offense was so explosive. And then they lured him away from St. Louis to the San Diego Chargers, where he magnified what he had. And he had people like Dan Fouts. Dan Fouts was about 6'5", big quarterback, could throw it. He had Kesselyn Winslow. He had Greg McCrae. They were the two tight ends. He had Bobby Duckworth. He had Wes Chandler. He had John Jefferson. He had Chuck Muncie in the backfield. And the reason I'm bringing all of this up, that's what I thought about when I saw Jackson State Saturday. Jackson State is loaded. But let me just say this.
Well,
now.
when I saw those last two plays of the game, I saw a W.C. Gordon field.
No, I don't see that, because let me tell you why I don't see that. Wait, hold on. The reason I don't see that is because W.C. Gordon's team, listen, W.C. Gordon's teams had a physicality that these teams don't have. W.C. Gordon's teams were very physical. They would beat you in the ground, and they would beat you in the ground with pride, okay? Because that's what he stressed. Okay, one of the things they
how
had.
hard was he hitting?
Hold on. Okay, one thing that W.C. Gordon's teams took pride in was accountability. Okay, and they were highly disciplined. All right. So once again, I'm gonna say this to y'all. Y'all need to stop throwing around W.C. Gordon's name like he just had a also ran program, or that people, that's been around 2 and 3 years can be mentioned in the breath. Y'all got to stop that. W.C. Gordon was one of the all-time greats, not only in HBCU football. Let me say this to you. A few years ago,
I was just Mr. Ford. I was just playing.
I know. Hold on. Let me say this. A few years ago, ESPN came up with the 150 best coaches in the last 150 years. W.C. Gordon's name was on that list. Okay? So we need to, I'm just saying, let's stop.
I just said that. Look at this play. Look at this play.
I saw that play many times. And let me say this to them FAMU people. Let me say this to these FAMU people. Okay. Listen, call Joe Henry's ass on the carpet. Okay, that was one of the worst. Wait a minute, that was one of the worst second half game plans I've ever seen in my life. And at the same time, not only call his ass on the carpet, okay, he can be the offensive line coach, but take the play calling away from him and give it to Henry Burris. He deserves it. And if you don't want to give it to Henry Burris, give it to Doc Gamble.
Wait, okay, Mr. Ford, hold up. First off, this is what I have to say. And some of this is not necessary. This is FAMU's fault, right? Because we said FAMU doesn't have an offensive coordinator. FAMU, Willie gone. He gone. Willie gone. And what was your response? Oh, he knows the offense. He knows how Willie runs his offense.
Yeah, but he ain't Willie. He ain't Willie. He ain't Willie. Yeah, he knows Willie's offense, but he ain't Willie. And what I'm saying is to them FAMU people, you know football. And so you should know that I don't know when you're going to make the change, but the change got to be made. Okay? Joe Henry cannot be your play call. He can't be your play caller. Okay, and so I'm telling you now, if listen, I would give the play calling to Henry Burris. If you're not satisfied with Henry Burris, I would go to Doc Gamble. If you ain't satisfied with Doc Gamble, there's another guy that used to be the head football coach at Alabama A&M. He can do.
Okay, so I just have a question. Why is it that you guys are wanting to just take his stuff away just after one loss?
No, listen. He proved that in a game of that magnitude, that was the biggest game. That was the game that everybody was looking forward to. On the highest of stages in HBCU football, and he failed miserably. Yeah, it was the biggest game in HBCU football. This is the game that everybody was anticipating as far as last spring. And so he proved that he's a dismal failure as a play caller in a major game. And so FAMU's going to be listen, if they're going to be into major games, he can't be the play call. He can't do it.
Okay, so what is it that you wanted him to do in the second half that you didn't see him do?
Listen, let me just say this to you. I don't know if you saw the game, you were there. I saw the game on television. They came out with the second half, and all them plays was designed to run out the clock. That's all them plays was designed to do. He didn't utilize his wide receivers. I mean, it was a piss poor job of play calling. And basically, what Joe Henry, I don't know if he was told to do this by Coach Cozy or did he do this on his own. But let me say this. Basically, what he tried to do the second half was run the clock out. That's what he tried to do.
I mean, they tried to score a field goal.
And let me say this. Let me say this. And I know that some of y'all gonna get upset about it. Listen, Jackson State has so many weapons. And here's the thing. So many weapons are not even being used. And I'm gonna say this again. And I know that you listen, I know y'all gonna have something, but let me say this. I'm looking forward to the day when TC relinquishes the play calling and give it to somebody else that he has confidence in and just be the head coach. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, Jackson State's offense is loaded with playmakers. But out of 10, they're about a 6. Okay? The talent offensively at Jackson State is out above the roof. But the coaching, I'm just telling you, to be honest with you, it's mediocre.
Mediocre, and we scored
offensively. Yeah, it's mediocre because y'all not utilizing all your weapons. I just said, and I want to say this again. Listen to me. Listen to me again. Listen to me again. But for those people who know and know the history of football, Jackson State right now is Air Coryell. They're the old what we call the San Diego Chargers. When they had Dan Fouts, when they had Kessler Winslow, when they had Greg McCrary, when they had Wes Chandler, John Jefferson, Bobby Duckworth. That's what y'all got. But the play calling is not utilizing all of the talent and the weapons that Jackson State has on that offense. They're not utilizing.
Okay, so can you use a specific example? So you mean like you utilizing 2 tight ends on a play, or what is it that you're
that's one thing they're not doing to me. But listen, them 2 little guys you got, okay, one they say is Marcus Dupree's grandson, right? What's his name?
Dupree, number 2.
Okay, he's not being utilized properly. Okay, to me, the kid that y'all say is from the Atlanta area, he's from Creekside, he's being underutilized. That wide receiver core. Yeah, I don't think he's being utilized. I don't think he's getting enough carries. I really don't. And then my thing with him is you can split him out wide. And then the other thing I've said this about Dupree and about the Terrell kid. Those kids can be special team superstars, whether it's punt returning, kickoff returning. Them cats are burners. Them guys are burners.
Mr. Ford, Janelle Dupree, number 2 and number 0 were literally on every single punt, kick return. They weren't kicking them the ball. They weren't kicking them the ball, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, they are, listen, both of them kids, you can run them out the backfield. You can run them out the slot. You can run them wide. You can run them beyond the numbers. They're not being utilized.
So basically, we do need to put up 70 on Bethune-Cookman this weekend.
Oh, without a doubt. Listen, y'all can do, listen, if that offense was clicking on all cylinders with the talent that you have, listen, you'd average 45 to 50 points a game if they were utilizing that talent.
What about FAMU underutilizing their team?
Well, like I said, see, here's the thing with FAMU. Now, one of the things I told the people I watched the game with, I didn't find out a whole lot of new stuff about Jackson because what Jackson did Saturday, I expected. But the thing that I did find out about FAMU is that Joe Henry cannot continue on as the offensive coordinator. It can't happen. The move
Dang,
has
was
to
that
be
from the street committee or
no. That's Mr. Ford. That's Mr. Ford.
Ooh.
I'm saying that Henry Burris, from here on out, needs to call the plays. Joe can remain as associate head coach. He can remain as offensive coordinator. He can remain as offensive line coach. All that's fine. But the play calling has to be given either to the Burris, the quarterback coach, like I said, or Doc Gamble, or the guy who at one time was the head football coach at Alabama A&M.
But Mr. Ford, you keep on talking about FAMU's offense, but what about FAMU's defense?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was shocked. I was kind of shocked that I wasn't displeased with them, because usually when I see them, I'm not really happy with them. But I really didn't have a lot of criticism of them Saturday.
They
Okay,
let Jackson State run 264 yards through them.
yeah, but they did. They played. Okay, my problem in that game, and the thing that was to me that from my point of view that was exposed, was this whole situation with Joe Henry as the play caller for FAMU. Like I said, what he came out in the second half and was attempting to do was just run out the clock. And you're going to run out the clock on a team that powerful, that talented, and you think they're not going to erupt on your behind? That's why I say, listen, now FAMU people, like I always tell you, Jackson, FAMU, Southern, Grambling, Auntie, those people have very smart fans. And I know that them people down in Tallahassee know that a change got to be made at that offensive coordinator position. I'm sorry, the play calling. A change got to be made.
Mr. Ford.
Uh-huh.
What year is it?
This is 2024.
No, whose year is it? It's the year of the who?
Oh, look like it's going to be the year of the Tigers. It's going to be. But now let me just say this. They got that. Listen, there's some trap games set up for y'all, but I do believe look like it's going to be the year of the Tiger. And you know what? I might be wrong, but I can see, and I said this during the summer, I can see Southern winning the West.
Wait, what?
And we ain't going to even talk about the coaching down there. We ain't going to even talk about it.
Yes, we are. Wait, let's go back to Southern. We got some Southerners in the chat. They need to hear.
Listen, let me say this to you Southern people. One of the people that I was watching the game with, he's a former high school coach, but he doesn't keep up with, HBCU football like I do. And he laid his eyes on Noah Biden. And this question was to me: how did he end up at Grambling and Southern? And I told him the story, that who coached him. Now he did know, I can't think of that guy. He was up in New York. He was Noah's coach. He played for Doug Williams. What somebody put in the chat, what's his name? He was the big guy at Grambling, quarterback. I heard Doc interview him one night. What's that guy's name, y'all? Y'all know what I'm talking about. He was a big quarterback at Grambling. He trained Noah in high school.
Lord, Mr. Ford, you always calling folks out.
I know. What's his name? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Bruce
Eugene. I had to tell my friend about the connection between him and Bruce Eugene. But to make a long story short, he thought that kid, Noah Biden, was a very talented passer, but I had to remind him, yes, he can throw like a pro, and he's got the pro side, but now he makes some real silly mistakes at times.
What kind of silly mistakes, Mr. Ford?
Go back and look at that Jackson State film.
Well, it was versus Jackson State.
Yeah, but now go back and look at that Jackson State film, and then you'll see them silly mistakes I'm talking about. Okay, but now he's kind of clean, like you said, he has cleaned up some of them. Okay, but my friend just thought that kid was really big time. The measurables. Looking at him, because he's about 6'3", 6'4". Listen, did you see the game against Alcorn?
Listen, it looked like they were struggling in the third quarter. There was no scoring.
on either
But
side of
what I was going to ask you, did you see the throw that he made where he basically flicked his wrist and threw it about 50 to 60 yards? Did you see that throw?
I didn't see that.
It was a
No,
throw he threw in the end zone. The wide receiver caught it in the end zone. But here's the thing. He was not playing it. He basically threw that ball 50 to 60 yards with the flip of his wrist.
Look at the flick of the wrist.
Yes, with the flip of the wrist. I'm serious. He has the intangibles, but here's the thing. It's the head. When we talk about the, quarterback has to have the mental game down. That's where the problems come in. He can throw the football, no doubt about it, all over the field. He throws he can really spin it. It's a beautiful throw. He can touch pass. You can tell that Bruce Eugene trained him. Okay. But there's a mental aspect of the game that he has to master. And he has not done that.
That's right, Mr. Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that it's going to be Southern and Jackson State?
Yeah, I could see that as a SWAC, unless somebody trips y'all up now.
Who gonna trip us up? You could have said unless they get tripped up.
I don't listen now. It's trap games out there now. Don't be now. Listen.
What trap game?
Yeah, it's trap games out there. I'm trying to tell you now. As the season goes on, people get better, and then the other thing is people start copying. You know how to get it.
Let me read to you this schedule. Now, of course, we're not gonna be like all like, oh, we got this in the bag, but let's just keep it a buck. This is who is on our schedule. Bethune-Cookman.
Oh, you should put 60 on them.
Don't you weep.
You're supposed to put 60 on Bethune. Or 50, at least 40, 50.
No, not 40 or 50. We have to put 60. We're now
in the can do it. You can do it.
23. So when you get into these top 23 types of polls, then that's when you start you don't just put on the clock. These are games where you're going to up the score. We need to see 5 touchdowns. We need to see 5 touchdowns from the quarterback. This is, you got to air it out, Now they do have some good defensive players that have top stats in the SWAC. Then you have UAPB. That's homecoming. They have some decent offense, right? But they, Giovanni Gibson is the top wide receiver in the SWAC with the most pass receiving yards. But, it's UAPB. They've struggled defensively. And we don't care about polls, but we're going to still, when you do get in a poll, then you just got to, you can't say, hey, I don't want to score 60 on you. Let's be nice. No, we're not being nice. Then we got Valley. Mr. Ford.
Uh-huh.
Who is our trap game? Alabama State?
Listen. Wait a minute.
Alabama State and Alcorn. Those are the only 2 games that I would say.
Let me say this right here. Patrice McCullum, you got it all wrong. You can go back and listen last week. I told you with I said, and you can go back and look at Mr. Mona's last week's show, with the talent Jackson State had, I picked Jackson to win because I said if they didn't beat them this year, when were they going to beat them? So you're totally incorrect. Okay. So go back and listen to, wait a minute, go back and listen to last Thursday's show, and you will hear me say that with the talent, because I've told you all this. I've told you this, and I'm going to say it again. Jackson State's personnel, its talent, individual players, they have one of the top 5 teams in FCS as far as personnel. But I'm going to say this also. The coaching is mediocre. It's not outstanding coaching. It's mediocre. Okay? Wait, hold on. The talent is out of the roof. The coaching is mid-level. Okay? Thank you. That's Patrice McCullum. You need to go back and listen to last Thursday's show. What you just said right here is incorrect.
Yes. So I actually clipped it when Mr. Ford said it because,
that was interesting to hear him say that. So what I did was I clipped it, and I'll go ahead and I'll let you guys. I'll play it for you guys. I said that he said wait, let me see. Okay, here it is. Because what he was talking about was certain people will not be missed. So this is Mr. Ford, and this is what he said. Let's go ahead and clear the air right now. Here it is. Wait, no, it left. Let me see.
You always talk about somebody won't be missed.
Wait a minute. Let me apologize on them guys from FAMU. I told you that. I told you that that Don Kidd and General Hunt would not be missed. I lied. They are missed.
Oh, you did.
Okay.
What did you do? What did you do, Mr. Ford?
I lied. Because I said that General Hunt and that guy's name was Dunn. He was a defensive end. I said he would not be missed. I lied. They are missed. Okay. That's why right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm picking Jackson State to beat FAM.
Ooh.
Because I just don't like FAMU's defensive line.
Oh, you heard that? You hear that, Mr. Combo? Did you hear that, Mr. Ford?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm glad you
said it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But now listen. Let me just say this. And this is what you call. Can you imagine it? What if Southern had a big time offensive coordinator?
Like who? Fred McNair?
No. I could go with Willie. I could go with Willie Todd. I'm
Don't
just
they
saying.
already have
One with imagination. Okay, with Noah Biden as quarterback. Can you imagine that? Instead of a running back coach as offense coordinator. I'm just saying Southern. I'm just saying this to the Southern people. Just you know how they say imagine.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining it.
Yeah,
You had an
that's what they're doing
outstanding
right
offense
now. They're
coordinator.
imagining it.
Imagine it. Yeah.
What about
But listen, let me say this to what you call them Southern. Let me say this to Southern. I can see you in the SWAC championship game. I can see it. I can see it coming together. I just think this week's game down in Tallahassee, Bragg Stadium. Y'all know how it is in Bragg now. That's gonna be a clash. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, FAM gonna be out to blow Southern out too. Now you know that. Now let me say this. Now you know them Rattlers pissed off down there in Tallahassee. You know they pissed. Ooh, they pissed down there in Tallahassee. Ooh, I know. Listen, I hope he didn't have to go before that. You know they got this thing called a 2020 club or something. You know, it's a bunch of old people that give money. I know they pissed off with Cozy. Oh, I know they pissed off with Cozy with Joe. With that boy, that's offense coordinator.
Ooh, you said the 220 club ain't feeling
what they call the 220 club. Listen, because usually, you know, he go and speak to them because, you know, they give him a lot of money. Willie would always, every week, Willie would go and speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I know it was tense. And, you know, we'd have to ask somebody, when do they have that meeting? Because, you know, some people, they show it on YouTube. They'll show that meeting.
Oh,
I don't know what day it is.
You want the insides.
Oh, listen, I know they want to. Boy, listen, them people get big money, too, for the FAM athletics. I know they hot.
Hot as fish grease.
Yeah, they hot as fish grease down there. But listen, one thing he got to do, now, what he's got to do, he got to blow Southern out if he going to get him off his back. Because he done blew it. Because, see, what they had said in Tallahassee was Celebration Bowl or bust. Because one thing they don't want to do in Tallahassee, they don't want to go to the playoffs. They want to come to the Celebration Bowl.
They ain't going to the playoffs no way because they rescheduled that Alabama A&M.
I don't know. Now they might get a bid because you know there are 2 losses. Well, I was about to say they're 2 losses, but they got 3 losses now. But 2 of the losses were to FBS schools.
They can't go anymore because they rescheduled Alabama A&M versus FAMU for Black Friday.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so let me take a commercial break. And
by the way, I'm riding with Maynard Saturday at the Magic City Classic. I'm with Maynard.
Ooh,
I think Maynard whooped behind him.
You being messy, Mr. Ford.
Yes, I'm with Maynard. I'm going with Maynard. I'm riding with Maynard.
Oh, you riding with Maynard now?
I'm riding with Maynard. Yes, sir, the Bulldog.
All right. So we just took a poll question. We asked who mentioned the SWAC West. 58% of the people in the chat said Southern.
Yeah.
And I think 3% said Texas Southern. 8% said Grambling, and 29% said Alcorn. This next poll question is, which ass whooping hurt the most? This is the question. I'm getting ready to play a video here. Is it Alabama State versus FAMU, or JSU versus FAMU? And I'm getting ready to play this commercial. Yeah. So let me get this out the way, and then you're gonna have to tell me some more about this 220 quarterback club. And I know
they walk.
I got a question for you, because I know you know the history of Bragg Stadium. And I got
Bragg.
So let's go ahead and watch this video.
BTA, belt to ass. Wow. What's up? What's up? Come up. What's up? Come up. What's up? What's up? What's up? Come up. What's up? What's up? Come up. Here we go. Oh, got the ass, huh? Got the ass, huh? What I tell you, huh? Behave like that, huh?
Which ass whooping hurt worse, Mr. Ford?
Listen, let me
Alabama
say.
State versus FAMU, or
Before
FAMU
I get to
versus
them, let me say the ass whooping was what Miles did to Clark Atlanta last Saturday at their home. Not only did they listen, they put the football team, like you said, put belt to ass on us, but then they band blew us away too. Okay, that was the ass whooping of the week. Was what Miles College under Sam Shade, whatever his name, did to Clark Atlanta University at Clark Atlanta's homecoming. Now that was what you call belt to ass.
Ooh wee!
Yes,
you know who else got an ass whooping?
I heard it was A&T. Listen, where is Doc's friend? You know Doc's friend that say they're going to be competitive. Where is he at? They got beat by 40, didn't they? What didn't they get beat by 40?
59-17, wasn't it?
Listen,
Mr. Ford, what do they need to do? What do North Carolina A&T
I've told you the president is gone. Okay, Chancellor Martin is gone. Let's get Earl Hilton out too, because he helped destroy that program. He's got to go. And then get on your knees to them people in the MEAC and beg back. That's what we got to do. Get on your knees to them people. Where's the MEAC conference office? Is it in Virginia? Where's the MEAC conference office? I think it's in Virginia. Go to the conference office. Get on your knees and beg back.
Okay, so Mr. Ford, they said that the football is just a part of homecoming. It does not encompass everything.
Yeah, but it was belt to ass on them too, and Hampton was the one swinging the belt.
Greatest
That's what you call belt
ever.
to ass. That's what that was.
Why did she say that? Greatest homegoing ever. She said greatest homegoing ever.
Okay.
Mr. Haynes said the MEAC don't want him.
Ooh.
Get on your knees, no Diddy.
Yeah, get on your knees. Where's the conference office for the MEAC? Isn't it in Virginia?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Conference office, yeah. And by the way, Blue, your boy did it again. Cam Ward. Give him the Heisman. Give Cam Ward the Heisman. And Blue, you need to be there when they give it to him because you definitely started the campaign. Give him. Did you see the Louis? Who was it now? It was Miami and who? Was it Louisville they beat? Who was it that they beat? I can't even think.
Saddest homecoming on earth. Listen, get off of them Aggies. You know I live in Aggie town. Boy, they better not see me.
Boy, listen. They jumped in the Big South, and they got to be mediocre. Now they in the CAA, and they horrible. The anti-football is horrible. Listen, Winston-Salem should have beat them, right? Didn't Winston-Salem take them to the end of them?
It was getting kind of close. It was getting kind of close.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't North Carolina Central score 66 points on them?
Ooh.
Hey, Blue, didn't what's his name? Trey Oliver. Didn't they put 66 points on the Aggies?
Yep.
Okay, but remember this. The guy said they were going to be competitive. They were going to be competitive. You asked him, you said, how do you feel about getting beat? And he told you that we're going to be competitive. Okay, where's the competitive? What's their record?
I think they won one game.
They beat Winston-Salem, right? Have they won any other games?
I hope not. I need that next $100. I think he bet me. I think Dave bet me another. They're 1-6 right now.
Okay, 1-6. Okay, all right.
I remember that A&T.
Doc, where your friend at? Doc, you know where your friend, the one that you always you say he follows the Carolina Panthers. And by the way, they are trash, a dumpster fire too. They got the worst owner in the NFL. What's his name? Tepper. They tell me he's trying to crash that organization so he can move them out of Charlotte. He wants to go to St. Louis. He wants that dome in St. Louis. Doc, what's your friend's name? The one that says that A&T was going to be competitive? What's his name?
Mr. Ford. You know it's this Dave. Super Dave.
Yeah, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to be competitive.
All right. So now I want to talk about this because I know you as a historian.
Yeah.
I just know you're going to clear it out and give us the real deal, Holyfield, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So there's been a debate online about the let me get that, about the origination of Bragg, who is Eugene Bragg, and the historical background behind the naming of Bragg Stadium.
Right now,
so
remember
without me influencing you, Mr. Ford, being that you're a historian, can you tell us a little bit about Juby Bragg?
Yeah, Juby. Yeah. Now it was a father and a son.
Oh, okay. So
it was a father and a son. Now there's a story. I'm trying to think. Was this Juby Bragg's team? Supposedly, FAMU at that time they were called Florida A&M College? I think it was.
All right. So I'm gonna read this, and then you give me some context to it.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I think
football at Jackson State College began in the early 1910s. At the time, football was not a scholarship sport.
Right.
So the team was completely dependent on volunteers. In the early years, games were mostly played against regional opponents like Campbell College, a school once located in Jackson, and Tougaloo College. In 1913, JB, which is his nickname for Juby Bragg, arrived to coach football at Jackson State. Bragg came to Jackson from Florida A&M, and while in Mississippi, his son Eugene attended the Jackson College Primary School, which was a teaching school on campus.
Right.
After leaving Jackson State, Juby Bragg returned to Florida A&M, where he coached from 1920 1923 to 25, and then 1930 to 31. His son Eugene became FAMU's 4th head coach in 1934.
Right. Okay.
And coached the Rattlers until 1935 when he was killed in a car accident. Today,
That's right.
the Florida A&M Stadium is known as Bragg Memorial Stadium.
Right. Yeah. So it was named after the family.
Yeah, it was named after the family.
After the family. Yeah. Because there's a story that Juby Bragg took a team to Alabama. I don't know if it was Tuskegee, Alabama State, and they ran out of money. And they had to, I don't know if they had to play another game to get the money to get, because I think they were, I don't know if they were traveling by train or what, but supposedly they got over there and this is some old stuff, that they ran out of money over there or something. And then they had to play twice or something so they could get the money to come back home. It's some really interesting. Now, also, one person I want everybody to look up, he was a FAMU coach. At one time, this guy was supposedly the most electrifying running back in America. His name was Jazz Bird. He came out of Lincoln University. And supposedly, you remember, now, do you know who George Hallis is? Do you remember George Hallis?
Now you asking all these other questions.
Okay, well, let me tell you this. Let me tell you, George Hallis was the owner and a legendary pioneering coach of the Chicago Bears. They said for about 20 years, he used his influence and his money to keep black players out of the NFL. Okay. And one of the players that he blocked out was a guy named Jazz Bird. And they say that this guy, Jazz Bird, was 10 times better than Red Grange. Now, do you know about Red Grange? Red Grange was up, I think.
Chicago Bears in the chat. What are they saying Chicago Bears for? Why are they saying Chicago Bears for?
Yeah, this guy George Hallis, he owned and matter of fact, his daughter owns the Chicago Bears now.
Oh, well, do we own Bragg Stadium, being that Eugene attended Jackson College Primary School?
No. But you know what? Y'all got a close some kinship there. By the fact
what's the kinship?
That both of you had a Bragg as your head coach. That's some kinship.
No, Eugene wasn't a head coach at Jackson State.
But his dad was.
He was getting taught there.
Yeah, but what about the dad? Wasn't the dad the head football coach?
Yeah, the daddy was.
The daddy was. He was head football coach at FAM and at Jackson.
It's like the Hampton Tuskegee Grambling connection.
Yeah, that's right. Because you know that that's one of the things they teach at Grambling. Grambling was born out of Tuskegee. The people in Grambling, which was Lincoln Parish.
Don't you be over there saying that Grambling was born out of Tuskegee, boy.
Yes, well, the guy who started Grambling, Charles P. Adams, they said he was almost 7 feet tall. He came from Tuskegee. And they wrote the letter to Booker T. Washington to send them a teacher to start the school in Lincoln Parish. This guy, they say Charles P. Adams, was almost 7 feet tall. He came to Lincoln Parish, started the school, and that school eventually became Grambling State University. Yeah, so, and the same thing with Hampton. Remember, the people in Macon County, Alabama, wrote the letter to Samuel Armstrong asking them to send them a teacher to start the school. They sent Booker T. Washington. He started the school, I think, July 4th, 1881, in a barn, you know?
Did you know that we actually played FAMU during that time that he was a coach over at FAMU, and we beat FAMU.
Okay, you're talking about when Juby
when he left and he went to FAMU,
right? We
played them and we beat them.
Oh yeah, what year was it?
I'm looking it up right now. I had bookmarked it, but I had bookmarked so much stuff because I was being messy, Mr. Ford. Did you see the video of McNair and his players?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought that video was great. I thought it was great.
I just was poking fun. Lord, these folks got in their feelings when they thought, but even Grambling folks get kind of in their feelings when people say that Tuskegee you know, when people are trying to be funny, they might say something like,
Well, now listen, let's just be
Grandma and
realistic. Let me say this. Let me say this. You got to remember, that was a period in our history. The best two and the most famous black university or black colleges was Howard University, and then it was Tuskegee. And for a period, the two schools that received the most money from the federal government was Howard University and then Tuskegee.
that's
Okay, I
because
say
whoever
this.
was it the president or was it the president that was
Well,
on
see,
one of
listen. We
those,
argue. Let me say this to you. We argue in history that the most powerful black man that Black America created was Booker T. Washington. We are. I'm one of the people that argue that, because you have to understand, when you look at Marcus Garvey, he worshipped and praised Booker T. Washington. When you look at Elijah Muhammad, the same thing. You read the words of Malcolm X, same thing. Okay, and so we believe that, and I tell you, I say this all the time: the most powerful man that Black America ever created was Booker T. Washington. Now, some people say it was Frederick Douglass. Okay, some say it was Garvey, but I say it was Booker T. Washington. Because you have to understand, at one time, if you were to get a major appointment in America, Booker T. Washington had to okay it. He had to say yay. And if he said nay,
that much power?
he had that much power. Go back and look at, there's a book called was it Wizard of Tuskegee? Listen, you got to read that book. You got to understand, this guy, Booker T. Washington, was trying to, basically what he wanted to do, he wanted a pipeline to the Caribbean to bring their best kids to Tuskegee, and he wanted a pipeline to Africa. Okay, this guy wasn't nothing. I mean, most people say, well, he was Uncle Tom. It was more complex than that. That's simple.
Was he still an Uncle Tom, though?
Well, he wouldn't speak out against lynching. And the other thing you have to understand, now listen. The other thing you have to understand is that many of the millionaires, the Andrew Carnegies, the John D. Rockefellers, they felt very comfortable with him, and they gave him millions of dollars. That's why today Tuskegee is the largest black university in America as far as land. They have over 5,000 acres. No other black school can argue that, can compete with that. They have over 5,000 acres.
Oh, wow. Mr. Ford, we're gonna welcome to the panel Brother Jerome, Doc, and Brother Bakari. Brother Jerome, since you got up here first, I'm gonna give you the floor, and then Doc, and then Brother Bakari, and we're gonna go back to Mr. Ford. Hey, Jerome.
Hey, D, I love. Happy Tuesday. How's it going?
Good. Thank you for coming on the panel.
Absolutely. You know, I won't be long, but I just want to give another historical perspective. You know, and Mr. Ford, good evening, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. So, you know, Mr. Ford, it must really sting for these FAMU folks, because not only is their house built with JSU bricks, which they just recently found out, we have been historically kicking their ass. I think we now lead the series 15-7-2. I do want to say that, Mr. Ford, going back to a previous conversation when I had, you know, there was an elitism among HBCUs. It was like a 3-tier type of format. And at the top, you had the very elite private liberal arts schools, like Lincoln, a PA at that time, was a juggernaut. And, you know, Star University, et cetera. Then you had the second tier, which were land grant schools, like the FAMUs, et cetera. And then you had the third tier, teachers' colleges. And, you know, all through the years, when it comes to funding, you know, of course, it was disproportionately given to land grants, HBCUs. And then, of course, you had the private sector giving a lot of money to these private HBCUs. There's only been 3 HBCUs that were not in the first 2 categories that were able to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, utilizing sports and band. And that is Winston-Salem State, with Big House Gaines when he came to their football program and then transitioned to basketball.
Right.
And then you've got Grambling, of course, with Eddie Robinson and their famous band. And then you
Right.
have the I Love. You know, it pains these elitist folk from these pseudo, well, I won't even call them pseudo, from these HBCUs like FAMU, A&T, etc. From the likes of a Grambling or a Jackson State, dog walks these folks all over the field. We got a bigger fan base. Our bands are better. I know it stings. I know it does. And this is for all the FAMU people in the chat. I just want to remind you that the I Love is your daddy. Yesterday, today, and forevermore. I want to say happy Founders Day. Happy early Founders Day to all my The I Love Jackson State alumni. The I Love. That's all I got.
Yeah. I'm dead.
Let me get off of here. Oh, God, help me. Oh, let me turn this camera off. Oh, Jesus. Oh. I'm the Paul. I'm the Pappy. I be that boy, Bob. I be that boy, bad daddy. Oh, Jesus. Mr. Ford.
Yes.
Why you always start mess?
I don't start no mess.
It only happens on Mr. Ford Street Committee report. That's when folks get to cutting up.
Hey. Well, Jerome, do you agree with me when I say that you remember Air Coryell, don't you? Jerome, you remember Air Coryell? You remember Don Coryell, the San Diego Chargers?
I do.
Yeah, that name sounds familiar. I remember.
Yeah, this is they had the juggernaut offense. Now they didn't make the Super Bowl, but they had Dan Fouts, they had Chuck Muncie, they had Wes Chandler, John Jefferson, Bobby Duckworth. They were a juggernaut offensively. They had Kesson Winslow and they had Greg McCrary as the tight end. To me, that's what I see at Jackson State offensively. They should be an offensive juggernaut because there's so many toys, there's so many weapons, there's so much talent on that offense.
Yeah, and I will say that there's been a couple of honestly, I feel like we should be undefeated right now. But anytime you have a new season with a whole new crop of guys, and then of course new additions to the staff, sometimes it does take a little bit to kind of gel. Even when you look at the brother that's over there at North Carolina Central, he didn't come in day one. Coach Trey Oliver. It took him a little bit, of time.
Well,
to
he
really
did
gel,
send us a message. Remember early on, he beat Alcorn in that SWAC MEAC game. He kind of sent us a message early on that he was going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Remember? Because at the time, Alcorn was kind of owning the SWAC. Remember, when Alcorn was in the East, they were kind of owning things. Fred and them was running it. Not only Fred, but remember that Jay Hobson era.
Hey, Brother Bakari.
Well, even with that game, I think that game was Mr. Ford. It wasn't that kind of close, and then Central pulled away in the fourth. Yeah,
Central. Yeah, I don't know. It was supposed to be an upset because of the success Alcorn had in the SWAC. They were predicted to win that game.
Well, looking at this season, I can definitely say Jackson State is a Celebration Bowl contender. They're still putting everything together. And, if we happen to make it to Atlanta, I expect another, maybe record crowd. Our fans are very, very hungry.
And a rematch. I think you get your rematch with Trey Oliver because he got you 1 year didn't he get you in the Celebration Bowl?
He got us.
No, I mean, he got prime, but I will say that.
That's what I'm saying. So you'll get your rematch. You'll get your rematch.
But I think a bigger, conversation or broader conversation is, the Jackson State community, HBC community as a whole is rooting for Jackson State. We've been through a lot the last 24 months. And a lot of people want to see JSU back in Atlanta just to kind of prove a point to naysayers and kind of redemption, even outside of winning. I want to see the rematch. I want to see the rematch with North Carolina Central. Oh, yeah. But,
I want to see the rematch.
And I'm sorry, Doc, what's going on, brother?
Man, I'm over here on my break, just chilling, trying to go ahead and smoke on a little bit of Rattler Pack for tonight
Yes,
on my break.
yes, sir. Yes,
No,
sir.
man. I tell this boy, I had a good time in I had a good time in my second home in Jackson over the
Okay.
weekend.
Yeah.
And the picture I did put out with me and Timona, that is true. If you see both of us in your vicinity, we will wreck your podcast and leave it in flames. So just let y'all know that.
But Doc, let me ask you this: did you think that game should have been at night?
It had a primetime feel to it.
Uh-huh.
I think it could have been played that night.
What you think would have been 50,000 if it had been a night game?
No,
Nah,
FAMU
it
does
was
not travel. FAMU does not travel.
It probably would have been about the same
Bakari,
amount.
you
Probably
up
about
next.
35. It probably been about 35.
Okay.
So, but at
So
the
they
same
gave
time,
y'all 28,000. According to ESPN, it was 28,000.
yeah. That number. When I looked around and when I took pictures and stuff, I think that was correct.
Okay.
But you have you probably had another 1,000 outside tailgating and everything. But at the same time,
But Doc, not to interrupt, but hey, Doc, that's a good segue. Mr. Ford and Doc, you might be more privy. What happened to FAMU's, marching band and cheerleaders and fan base?
Wait, just a second. Let me bring in
All right.
Brother Bakari, because Brother Bakari just been sitting here. Hey, Brother Bakari.
What's going on, Timon? What's on? How everybody doing?
What's going on,
We're
brother?
good. Lord,
Mr. Ford, I want to give you your props, Mr. Ford. You just a wealth of knowledge. When you was talking about Booker T. Washington, Marcus Garvey, I don't think a lot of people have studied those two men in depth. Yes, I would say some people call Booker T. Washington and Uncle Tom. I say Booker T. Washington is an African American hero. Him.
Yeah.
Isaiah T. Montgomery, even though Isaiah T. Montgomery did not start a school, but what he did in Mount Bayou, Mississippi.
Oh yeah.
But I appreciate that knowledge that you were that knowledge and wisdom that you were given, and I suggest people to study those people, because Booker T. Washington is the reason Marcus Garvey came to the United States.
Right. Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
Now to games, right? Jack, we beat FAMU, man. I'm gonna be honest, the game had me a little nervous up there. My daughter say she wouldn't wear it. She took her beads out and started shaking and say the ancestors told her Jackson State was gonna win by 2 touchdowns. I promise you. And Mr. Ford, Eddie George is doing a good job down there at Tennessee State, man. Now they probably need to come back. They need to be MEAC, SWAC. They need to be something. But Eddie George got that program going the right way.
I'm getting ready to watch that game tomorrow. I can pull it up tomorrow. I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't watch a lot of it. I'm gonna watch it in its entirety tomorrow.
They probably gonna win that conference. And Timona keep laughing at A&T. One of my homeboys is an A&T alum. He pulled against A&T. He said he hoped they lose until they go back to the MEAC. He glad they suck because they shouldn't be.
And they need to go on their knees. Go on the knees.
He say they should not be in that conference. So he hope they keep sucking until they go back to the MEAC where they belong.
It's gonna, but I'm gonna tell you like this. It might be a surprise that I'm gonna be real with you. Hampton probably gonna have about 6 or 7 wins this season alone. And just be way better. They are way better than A&T. But man, but I think they could have did. So this is what I think. They could have did us at 6 o'clock. Our game at 6. They could have did the Alcorn Southern game at 2:30 because it's their homecoming. I mean, I like I said, that game Saturday had a primetime feel to it, but it was just at 2:30. But
hey, but Doc, I got a question. To on top of that, kind of going back to my question a couple minutes ago. For this to be such a big time matchup, and for FAMU to be allegedly a contender, where was their crowd? Where was the band? Where was their cheerleaders? Like, what happened?
Well, from what I heard,
That's what I want to talk about.
some folks is saving up. Some folks is going to do they,
Yes,
you know, for their homecoming, because they homecoming in like a couple of weeks. They also some also said that they kind of are hesitant as far as with the coaching and stuff with some of the play in the last couple of games, and especially with this game, they were like, nah, I don't even, man, we not gonna come to Jackson. They just gonna wait. But like I said, it's like a 5.5, 6 hour drive from Tallahassee to Jackson, though. Man, they could have made that.
you know,
They could have
All
made
I
that
hear
trip.
is excuses.
you know,
Well,
I'm gonna say
I'm
Moses.
gonna tell you, I don't
Here's
think
the thing. Wait. Here's
I
the
don't
thing,
think
though.
either fan bases have accepted it as a rivalry. I'm just being honest. I think that's the
Well, I
problem.
mean,
I don't think
that
either
may be
fan base has
true.
accepted it as a rivalry.
That may
But
be
now,
true, but I mean,
listen. A lot of the FAMU people do want that game, that Jackson FAM game in Atlanta. I heard that a lot. Like you said, the street committee, they want that game in Atlanta.
Bump them. They
I
ain't.
Yeah,
we don't
they're
care what they
saying
want.
next
I'd
year
rather
that
do it at
game should be
home.
in Atlanta.
I'd rather
No,
do the
so
home at
Mr.
home.
Ford, I did get confirmation that next year is FAMU and Tennessee State in Atlanta, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and there's some other big news as well. But
Okay.
I will say, you know, FAMU's fan base, they've got alumni in Alabama and Tennessee and Atlanta and
Oh, they're definitely in
Louisiana.
Atlanta. They here all
You
over.
know, for them to bring 25 fans and a pack of ladies to Jackson, Mississippi, that's disrespectful. You
it's
know, because
unacceptable.
I saw Prairie View a couple years ago. Prairie View played in Jackson for the SWAC championship, and they had a huge crowd in SPV.
But you know what though? Because that ain't no but a.
Did you just say a pack of now laters?
Yeah, he said
I
a pack of
did.
now later. But from Prairie View to come to Jackson, they ain't no but like a 6.5, 7 hour drive right there for them.
Same
That's
difference.
easy for them. And it was easy for them to come to Jackson. That like when they went to like last season, when they went to FAMU for the championship game, shoot, I couldn't even sprinkle around see some purple and gold unless my mama was there, but she
But
had on
Doc,
her purple and gold too.
but you know, Doc, I just feel like after this past weekend, I don't want to hear anything else about FAMU having a legendary fan base because it seems like they don't travel outside of Atlanta, Georgia, and Tallahassee.
But I'm gonna tell
It
you
seems-
this though, Jerome. While we was at the tailgating, though the people from FAMU, you know, like all of them, they wasn't hostile. They was cool. You know, the people that came, they was cool. They got food and they congregated, we celebrated. Then we went up into a game. We saw a good ass game for the most part.
But
you know
Jerome,
what?
they showed up in Montgomery.
So
That
okay,
ain't no but a
they show,
3.5 hour
so
drive.
okay, yeah, that's like around the corner. But what I'm saying is, everywhere we go,
Wait. Let
But what
Uncle
about the
Willie
Florida, the Orlando game? They show up in Orlando.
but that's in the same. That's like going from Jackson to Meridian. You know that. Come on.
Hey, Uncle Willie.
Hey, it's not quite like going. That's a pretty good jump. That's still about a 200-mile jump from Orlando to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
There was a couple of things I wanted to say. First of all, about FAMU. I'm old enough to remember FAMU. I remember Jackson whooping on that ass. But what I used to love to watch is that not serious. I'm trying to be serious, but I used to love to watch. I'm talking about going back from the age of 14. I used to love to see those Rattler band that Marching 100 come in, and like I was saying on another program, back in the days when the Marching 100 was all male and Southern Band was all male,
right?
They had pretty good bands during that time. But this is a new. Mr. Ford, I want to ask you something because this is going to segue into my next point.
Right.
At one time, like back in the 80s, I think they changed the rule, but tell me if I'm mistaken. At one time, they couldn't advance a fumble in college football, right?
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Right. So FAMU, when that defense put that put that lick on that youngster's ass and put him on his ass and made him lose the ball. All that's part of the game. That's part of an ass whooping.
Oh yeah.
They wouldn't have counted those points if it did. Because once upon a time, y'all young folk, that they couldn't advance a ball in college football. Once they did that, that intensified the ass whooping. You don't just barely winning the game is winning the game by 1, 2, or 3 points. But when they whoop your ass on it, within 5 minutes, I mean, they just slaughter your offense and take the ball from them and score. That's an ass whooping.
Okay, Mr. Willie, now, let me ask you this question. Out of 10, how do you rate Jackson State's coaching? Do you give them a 10,
about
an 8,
a 7? About a 7. They mediocre, just like you said an hour ago. They mediocre coaching. I don't want to hurt nobody's feeling, but we need better coaching because we got too much fucking talent and not have no good coaching.
That's right. I think you got personnel-wise, you got one of the top 5 teams in FCS.
You got one.
What you got on
I'm gonna tell you something.
What you got on
that, Mr. Ford? Mr. Ford. Now, I don't mean to bring up other folk, but you could put them some guns out there in that same conference that Colorado in. I bet you they'll compete. They'll finish, and I bet they won't finish no lower than 3 if they had the right coaching.
Yeah,
they got that kind of talent.
I'm gonna say this though, Uncle Willie. They in the second half, Jackson State Quinn made the necessary adjustments on defense. Cause you gotta realize them dudes only gained like probably about 100 and probably about maybe another 120 yards of total offense in the second half alone. And most of that was on the pass. So
46 yards rushing on me. Go.
Yeah, but we only gave up 63 yards on the ground. So just to say when they, he make the adjustments and stuff like that, the first half, they picked on Day, they picked on Day twice. Hey, as a corner, I know this, my uncle and my cousin is telling me this, like as a cornerback, you just gotta have the memory of like, look, it happened. Move on to, move on to the next play. I got beat. Oh well, you got to move on to the next play. But
So, but Doc, let me ask this question.
Let me say this before you. I'm gonna jump off for a second. For all the folks that whoever is on Twitter or whatever is jumping in these kids DMs and stuff like that and making threats. Your mama's a hoe. And your daddy should have left you in that condom because y'all some punks for trying to threaten the kid because he got burnt twice. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Man, these people, they taking this shit too serious.
Leave that boy alone. Leave these players alone. Like seriously, and it's not just on Jackson State. It's on all these kids that come up in here. And the thing about it is when you talk about fans, like we said, the fan is short for fanatics. Okay, these folks, the folks that do stuff like that, they not fans. They are bullies, delirious, and bullets and loose cannons. Because if they even think about doing something like that outside of Twitter fingers and stuff like that, they ain't nothing. They something than a goddamn pack of Charmin damn toilet paper.
Well, now, Doc, before you leave, let me ask this, and I got to leave too. I saw Alcorn Saturday night, and I'm gonna ask you this question: when when Jackson State goes into Lorman to play Alcorn, should the score be 40-0, 50-0, 60-0 Jackson State? Which one?
It ain't gonna be. I don't even think it's gonna be 40 or 50 or nothing. I'm gonna tell you just like this: them dudes is gonna come out and try to show up because it's gonna be their Super Bowl. And especially in the reservation, they're gonna treat it as their Super Bowl in the reservation. So it's gonna be a defensive battle. Because you gotta look at the game.
We're gonna talk about we on week 8. Week 9 games is for Thursday. Thursday at 9. We coming on here.
Mr. Ford, I want to say something. I want Mr. Ford to validate or tell me where I'm wrong at, and then I'm gonna get off the air. When it comes to the Celebration Bowl, Jackson State have won a black national championship, but the Celebration Bowl is something new.
Right.
And now this is my opinion. Now I watched the MEAC a long time ago in the SWAC. I remember when Winston-Salem was in the MEAC. I remember when they had a lot of teams, but I knew that the MEAC didn't get the prestige that the SWAC got. So when they started playing the Celebration Bowl, I don't think that a lot of the SWAC teams really took. It's either one or two things. Either they really didn't take it that serious, or they made it a competitive game where the MEAC could keep some face and recognition, but they still just down to 16. Do you see where I'm going with that? Because I don't believe that. I don't really believe that, you know, they like that. I really believe the SWAC can run through them, but we all HBCUs, we all together. So I think it's a little give and take on. Okay. You feel the same way, Mr. Ford?
Well, the thing you got to understand about the MEAC is that for the last 20 years, they had the worst commissioner in FCS, and that was Dr. Dennis Thomas. He was awful. He was incompetent, he was inept, and he was corrupt. And when he left, he gave it to a person who was just like him, who has no vision, Miss Sonja Steele, no disrespect intended. But she's in over her head. And see, the thing about the SWAC is that not only does the SWAC have more prestige, bigger games, but the SWAC makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I talk to the people at FAMU, all of them say the same thing. They say, you know what? We should have been in the SWAC 40 years ago because they were the only team in the MEAC traveling. And so now one of the things that did help the MEAC was the fact that North Carolina A&T originally in the Celebration Bowl, they were a juggernaut. They had 3 wins against against Alcorn, and then they had a win against Grambling. They won 4. Okay, and in winning 4, that was money being pumped into the MEAC. Cause see, I keep telling y'all, and I got to get off the thing. See, and I've said this to Mr. Mona, and I've said it to Doc. Either we come up with a plan to annex the MEAC, or the MEAC is going to collapse, and they're going to go the way of the dinosaur. Okay, I'm telling you. Yeah, we gotta do it. We gotta, and because right now the hottest conference as far as HBCUs is the SWAC. The SWAC is where the money is being made. That's where the money is being made. When you start talking about that Southern against Grambling, Jackson State against Alcorn, Jackson State against Southern, this big old thing is getting ready. What about that thing that's going to happen this weekend in Birmingham, Alabama State and Alabama A&M? That's going to be 70,000. Then Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M in Orlando, money making. They don't have that in the MEAC. And the other thing is the SWAC has vision and leadership. They don't have either one of them in the MEAC. And I'm going to tell y'all again, because I talked to them South Carolina State people. They know about the money that's made in the SWAC. And guess what? The alumni are telling them to join the SWAC, which will cause the MEAC to collapse.
Man, I wish they do it, and I wish they go to FBS and watch how it grow. And watch how it grow. And watch how it grow. Man, I want to see that so doggone bad, man. I just hope I see it in my lifetime. I want to see it so doggone bad. Mr. Ford, I thank you for confirming my thoughts.
Y'all have a good night. I'm out. I'm out.
Willie, you got anything?
No, well, basically, that's what I wanted to get out, and I'm glad I caught Mr. Ford on there where he can validate what I was saying. There's a lot of, it's a lot of excuses being made. Oh, they didn't beat. If you get your ass whooped by 2 touchdowns, that's an ass whoop. no matter how you look at it, and that's why I wanted to validate what I was saying, because once upon a time, I can remember it was like in the mid '80s when they changed the rule. Mid to late 80s when they changed the rule where you couldn't advance a fumble in the college football. And people say, well, if it wasn't for that, they wouldn't count the shit. So you need to get over it. FAMU, I can remember most of those ass whippings that Jackson State then gave to FAMU. So I don't know where they fans get off with this, like they so great. The only thing and that's another thing, that's what I wanted to say. What I used to love to see was they band. And it was a disservice for them to not to bring their band. But I guess they didn't want a double ass whooping. That's what that was. A double ass whooping. They would have got no. They would have got a triple ass whooping. They would have got a ass whooping in the zero quarter. Then they got ass whooping in the game. Then they would have got ass whooping in the fifth quarter. That's 3 ass whooping. They didn't want all 3 of them at one time. That's all I have to say. Hey. But I think I agree with Mr. Ford. There are some trap games out there. I don't like Alabama State playing over, but I'd rather play Alabama State than to play any team in Louisiana. Because I just swear the referees cheat. Whether they here or over in Louisiana, I just swear the referees cheat for the Louisiana team. But Alabama State gonna play pretty tough, but I think we should pull that out. I think we should pull that game out. I think we should win out. And I'm looking to host the SWAC championship because I like going to the SWAC championships when it's played here. That's one of the games that I like going to. You know, how they cheat? Man, the referees, when the referees can make certain calls in the game, or you can call holding anytime on every down. They just throughout the year. I mean, just throughout the years, they just made calls in inopportune times of the game, especially against Southern. Now, Grambling games been called pretty fairly from the ones I've seen throughout the last 40 years. But Southern games, they used to have a referee, old tall, light-skinned guy. He probably been retired now. And he used to sing like we used to always pull him when we played either one of those Louisiana teams. And it just seemed like you just knew it was going to be a tough game. But we done got both of those Louisiana teams out the way. And my only concern going forward is Alabama State. I ain't worried about Alcorn. Alabama State. I think it's going to be. I don't think we're going to blank them. But I think we'll beat them by better than 2 touchdowns. I think we'll beat them better than 2 touchdowns. We'll be primed up. We'll be primed up. If we have to play Southern again in the SWAC championship, now I think that will be a blowout. And I think it's going to be a 2 touchdown win in the Celebration Bowl. I think we're on all cylinders. The coaching, TC is doing a pretty good job. He's doing a pretty good job. But now, to utilize that talent, to really see what you had, if you had some better coaching, you would really be amazed. The fans would really be spoiled. If they had better coaching, you'd really be spoiled because you wouldn't want nothing less going forward. Jackson, they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent. I'm not just saying that. They compete. I believe they compete in the same Conference USA, the ones that the Southern Mississippi is in. I think they have that type talent on their team. They have some big old boys, man. They have some big strong guys. Another thing with the freshmen, it's a reason, Timon. It's a reason when those players go to those SEC schools. There's a reason they sit out because they're not big enough. They got to get in the weight room. That's what caused a lot of fumbles and stuff. Guys coming down on them, ripping that ball out. They got to get in the weight. They have to get in the weight room. That's going to be a big knock. The only person that I miss is Travis Hunter. That's going to be a big knock for him because he's undersized. Look at those guys in the SEC. Look at the Kentucky and the Vanderbilt team. Look at the lower tier team. Look at those guys. All those guys bigger than our boy, our backs and stuff, skill position, because they get in that weight room and they get on a dietary plan to get bigger, where they could be ready and prepared to play. Yeah, we have talent, we have speed, but those guys are gonna have to get bigger. They're gonna have to get in that way. They're gonna have to hit that weight room. I'm just being honest.
Brother Bakari,
it's good for the competition that we're playing. But if you want to play the top tier competition, man, you're gonna have to. Walter Payton was able to bench press 340 pounds. 340 pounds. Walter Payton. Back then, they was really trying to condition themselves to go to the next level. And we're gonna have to, our players is gonna have to get in that weight room and get stronger, and we got to keep them. But that's all I had to say for the night. That's all I wanted to say. I just tried to put out something positive.
You got a question for Uncle Willie?
No, I ain't got a question for Willie. I know Mr. Ford gone. I wanted to answer his question about the coaching, what I thought coaching. But I do want to respond to something Willie said though. When I get a chance, if I can go ahead.
I want to respond to something you said, Bakari.
Okay, well,
Bakari. People need to read. We was required at Jim Hill to read Uncle Tom's Cabin. People need to read Uncle Tom's Cabin. Uncle Tom was the hero. Sambo was the villain. Now, now you can go and ask me wherever you want to ask.
Okay, so Uncle Willie, whenever
it was some when Willie talked about something he said about the first. I want to say, Mr. Ford, I give Jackson State coaching staff a 8 out of 10, and I'll explain why after that. When Willie said something about the weight room and getting bigger and stronger, one of the first things, well, after the game, and I talked to my people, I told you and this is from my friend that played in the league, right? One of the first things he said about Jackson State, first he was talking about the talent Jackson State got. He said Jackson State got good talent. They're above him, but he said the next thing he noticed was, he said Jackson State either got a lot of people from the transfer portal that's been getting strength and conditioning at bigger schools, or Jackson State strength and conditioning. What he said he don't want to just give it to another school because they have coaches in a weight room. He said Jackson State strength and conditioning and they players just look stronger, and they was able to outlast FAMU. He really didn't knock what, and I understand what Willie's saying. They will have to get bigger and stronger, of course, but he really didn't knock Jackson State players. He said Jackson State players look like they're in the weight room and look like they have a pretty decent strength and conditioning program, because he was like, man, they just wore us down. He was like, their D line, their O line. He would say, man, he said they just wore us down. He said as the game went on, he said he was surprised the game was still 21-20. He said as the game went on, you could tell who was the stronger team. He said it was Jackson State.
I was talking about them two freshmen, you know.
Oh yeah, them freshmen gonna have to get stronger now. And I heard Doc mention the young dude. Let
me mute Brother Bakari. When Uncle Willie's talking, I'm gonna mute you because there's an echo, and then Uncle Willie, when you're not talking, I'm gonna mute you because there's an echo. So let me unmute Uncle Willie so he can respond to what you said about that.
No. Let him go. I apologize for cutting in. I just wanted him. I apologize. Let him talk. Let him go. I'm through right now.
So when I heard Doc talk about the young, well, first of all, we do need to stop threatening players. That's one. That's for sure. But when I heard about the young brother he got burned twice, and I don't on the third touchdown pass, I can't remember if that was his side of the field or not. But whatever he did wrong in that first half, it didn't happen to him in the second half. So which means there was adjustments made by the coaching staff. Yeah, our front four was dominant. You know, we could get pressure on him, but we could do that in the first half, and he was able to especially on the first touchdown. I don't know, our cornerback, he was looking at the sideline talking when the ball was up. Like somebody was talking. If you watch that, somebody was talking to him from the sideline. He didn't move. The guy had like 2 steps on him before he even moved.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the film now. I'm gonna mute you real quick and then let Uncle Willie say something if he got something to say about it. But then I'm pulling up the film now so that we can actually look at it and you can actually see for yourself. So I'm pulling that up now. I'm going to mute you real quick, Brother Bakari, so Uncle Willie can say something. And then I'm going to pull up that particular film so that we can look at it, so that we can actually see with our own eyes how those plays worked out. Okay. I unmuted you, Uncle Willie.
All right. Yeah, I seen that too, Brother Bakari. I seen, the coaches was talking to him. He had his head turned and he just threw a fly pattern. But what happened, Brother Bakari, the adjustment that they made, they went into a cover 2. And that quarterback can't throw against cover 2. He can't throw deep against cover 2. And the defense and the defensive interior, the line, is just too powerful and strong that he couldn't do his scrambling. He couldn't roll out. He couldn't do no rolling out because we were sending blitzes. And I mean, that defense is like I said, the defense was gonna tear their ass up, and that's what they done. The defensive interior, the line was just they was getting back there. He didn't have enough time to do his. Jackson State is not like the rest of the SWAC or like the rest of the people. They are real good, talented team, and yeah, they are. They do have some pretty strong players. But I was really talking about our freshmen. You know, our freshmen and sophomores. They need to hit that weight room. They listening to this program. Yeah, y'all need to get in that weight room and be dedicated. Blood, sweat, and tears, baby.
Brother
About to
Bakari, you
show.
can go ahead and respond because I'm still pulling up the video and the pictures of that.
It's nothing to respond. But he right, our freshmen, and I think they will be in that way.
We
And our
definitely
freshmen will be in that weight room.
Right.
Freshmen will be in that weight room, of course. And when we say the coaching, for me, when I said they get an 8, right? When I said they get an 8, for me, I saw the adjustments that was made in the second half. But it also take good coaching to keep those young men who anxious, who want to go, to keep everything calm in a stressful situation like that. Because I'm gonna be honest, you had to be kind of nervous on that sideline with the game like that. You better than this team. If we ain't made these turnovers, it wouldn't be here, right? But it take coaching to help those players, in my opinion, anyway, to keep their composure. It take good leadership in the body, fight of the head. They remain composed.
All right, hang on just a second. Let me unmute. Go ahead, Uncle.
I'm listening. I hadn't.
Okay. So let me go ahead and pull up basically what was going down or what was happening. And you know what? A lot of us are football fans, right? But when you're in the heat of the moment and you're watching, you might not even see those little things that are happening. And so sometimes as fans, you have the tendency to miss some of those things that are happening on the field. And so one of the things that people were saying is that some of our DBs were basically missing the wide receivers. But what actually was happening is that FAMU would do this silent count where the quarterback will kind of like clap his hand, and then the line would relax a little bit, and then basically they'll wait to catch Jackson State off guard. As you can see in the bottom of the screen, the DB is actually looking to his coach for directions or for whether or not it's what type of read he's supposed to be doing, what type of play he was looking on the sideline because at that point in time he thought that FAMU was relaxing or looking to get a call. In reality, they weren't. They're just trying to catch them off guard. And like Brother Bakari and Willie pointed out, in the second half, they was all game to it, so it didn't work any longer. So I think that the biggest achievement for Jackson State is the immediate fixing of all of those things in the second half, so that they remained scoreless in the second half. FAMU did not score and has not scored any points in the second half. They didn't score last year when we lost 28-10. They did not score the whole second half. The year before that, it was 59-3. They didn't score. The year before that, it was 7-6. So, yeah. You want to respond?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Oh, well, I don't have anything, nothing to say against what you were saying. I just wanted to ask Brother Bakari this. Brother Bakari, when you was talking to some of your friends, did they ever mention did they ever come up with the excuse that if it wasn't for those that scoop and score in the interception, they would have won? I just want to know if you heard that same excuse.
Look, I have some honest FAMU fans. You know what they said? Jackson State tried to give us the game, but we wasn't good enough to take it. He said, man, y'all were way better than us. He said, man, y'all, but my video, man, y'all should have beat us by 3 touchdowns, man. Y'all way better than us. He said, man, it's a different level. I'm just telling you what they said. They said, man, it's like a different level. He said the talent level, everything. They said it's just a different level. But he was waiting for the lose if he could talk noise to me though. But that's what they said. They didn't try and make no excuse, none whatsoever.
I guess that was just the people in the chat, but I'm glad that you around some good, honest people. But there was some people in the man. They've been talking noise for the last 2 years. But I really appreciate y'all, Brother Carr. I love talking to you. I'm gonna have to meet you one day. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to meet y'all too. I was at the game Saturday too.
Yeah, I was in and out, but I'm most definitely gonna be at. I'm not gonna come to homecoming. That's too many people. It'd be too many people and too much stuff going on. But I'm gonna most definitely be at. I'm most definitely be. If we have that SWAC championship, I'm gonna be all up in there. But we're gonna hook up. We're gonna touch down. We're gonna have a cup of coffee or something. One day. I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'm looking forward to meeting Tamona and Doc also. But I'm gonna get off from here, and I got me some Epsom salt in that bathtub waiting on me. So y'all have a good night, and I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the show, and thank you for letting me come on.
Thank y'all for coming on. Brother Bakari. All right, y'all. So this concludes the Jackson State versus FAMU recap show 2.0. And then we went over Alcorn and Southern. Thursday, I think that Thursday it needs to be Bethune-Cookman versus Jackson State. And Southern plays FAMU. Alabama State plays Alabama A&M. So Thursday will be about week 9 football. Thank you guys for coming to close it out. Just to close everything out, I'm going to play all of the petty stuff that I played in the beginning. You know. Yeah, so let me go ahead and get that going. You know how I like to end the show. Jackson State had FAMU the chokehold, boy. You guys know how I do. All right. So congratulations, of course, to the Jackson State Tigers on that big win and on Southern beating Alcorn. I can only imagine what that 220 is going to be looking like this week. Prayers, and sorrows. Prayers, and sorrows. Who said Southern coming? You got to get up out the West first. Laugh now, cry later. Southern's coming. All right. So we're going to leave out, of course, with Southern Alcorn tribute. And then, of course, Willie and friends. And I'm going to leave out with I Won't Complain, segueing into Jackson State versus Bethune-Cookman, because y'all know that game, if we don't have any turnovers, Mary, don't cry.
Yeah, man, hey, write a check your ass can cash, man. That's all I can say.
I've had some weary days and some sleepless nights, but when I look around, I think things over. All of my good days outweigh my bad days. I don't complain. The clouds hang low. I can hardly see the road. I ask the question, Lord. Lord, why so much pain? But He knows what's best for me. They can't see, so I'm just saying, thank you, Lord. I won't complain. But He is so good to me. He's been good to me. More than this world I could ever be. He's been so good. But He knows what's best for me. Although my weary eyes, they can't see, so I'm just saying, thank you, Lord.